What's up, everybody? Addison here alongside with Janice. Janice, what's going on?
Hi, everybody. Snowy day, well, weathery day in the Northeast today,
Oh,
and
man.
apparently for a lot of people, especially the Carolinas. But I just got off the phone with a consult with somebody that was in the Carolinas, and they went outside and they had beautiful blue skies. It moved through their area at like 8 o'clock this morning, so the rain is shortly coming here to the northern part of New England, very short.
Yep. Yep. And along, not too far from now, we will be hitting spring and we will be hitting foraging season. So this is why we're here, right? So,
Yay! Rishi's coming up. Morels too. Morels. Morels are going to be coming up. As soon as the soil temperature hits an average of 40 to 50 degrees, they'll start popping. Same
yep.
thing with the reishi. The reishi is going to be starting to pop. Reishi always pops about May in northern New England, May and June, and so on.
So we're going to be out there this summer, this spring, filming, hanging out. I'm going to be spending a lot of time making remedies. So this is kind of like a new format for us. I want this video to be like a Ghost Pipe 101. Like, this might be our last chance that we're going to have time to sit around in the offices, in the house. Because right now, if I could, I'd be out looking for these ghost pipe flowers in particular. So I
Yeah.
want to I want to just take our time. We're going to talk about Ghost Pipe 101, everything about it, from where to find it, how to harvest it, and how to properly make Ghost Pipe tincture, and even more than that, teas. Other people make, we made honey with it now. So there's some new remedies people are using too. So kind of a mouthful there, but
Honey badger.
yeah, we want to start with what is Ghost Pipe? Where would you find it? A couple things. So pull up this easy to find map. It's more easy to tell you where it doesn't grow. It doesn't grow in the Midwest, in this desert area, this dry area. So this is gonna, you need the leaf litter, you need the forest. It grows up into Canada. It's strange, it's all the way up in North
Western
Alaska.
Alaska. Yeah.
So they must have found it up there and put it in the database. I've seen people post it in Newfoundland too. So
Oh yeah, it's in Newfoundland. It's in the it's in our maritime provinces in Canada, Nova
yeah,
Scotia, New Brunswick.
and
Hmm.
down into Mexico and South America as well. It's just there's not a whole lot of research done in those countries, I believe.
In Asia too.
Yeah,
But they have found that the ones that are, there's a subtle difference. Plants spread, right?
yeah,
Globally, where the conditions are optimum for them. And they have found, there has been some studies done, that the ones that are in Asia aren't genetically the same as the ones that are here in the Northern Hemisphere.
yeah. I've read
There's,
that too.
and there's differences for the ones in South America too. Even though they're all from the same family. But don't forget, even 6 years ago, everybody was classifying Monotropa uniflora as a mushroom.
Yeah, let's take a look at it. So like it feeds in a way a mushroom does. So it has it comes out of the ground. It looks kind of like a mushroom, but to me it looks like a flower.
Yeah, it's a flower.
Looks like a
Yeah,
flower.
monotropa in Latin, means one
Yeah.
turn, and mono tropa turn, uniflora one flower. Okay, so I look at it a little bit differently because I know how it grows in what I call a root pouch, and
Yeah.
there's the root has a bunch of turns, almost like a corkscrew, into that root clutch.
No, I might have a picture of one that I found a while ago. I'd have to see.
And so when we'll get into the harvesting of it, but finding it, you're going to find it in boreal forest, boreal meaning old growth. Okay. And the reason why you're going to find it in old growth is because it needs a
Hmm.
really healthy humus soil. And that happens over time and in growth patterns. And, you know, this flower, it's a perennial plant.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the signs that you're going to look for to find, and I tell everybody this because you could see a couple white pine needles in that picture of the expired ghost pipe that you have up right now.
Yeah.
Look for forests that have hardwood. You know, you can
Yeah.
tell by the leaves here. You got some beech, you got some maple, you got I
Lot
thought
of like
I saw a little bit of maple.
lot of like poplar and
Yeah,
beech in this area. Ton of hickory,
yeah, but
ton of
you're gonna
oak, swamp
yeah,
oak,
you're gonna
white
want to
oak, red
find
oak.
yeah,
But
you're gonna want
you'll see it like more the older the trees, bigger trees, older the forest, less like clutter, like small growing plants and shrubs, like less of that the better. Like you want old forest. Like see this, like that's kind of the forest floor you might see little tiny sprouts, and then you just got to
be
keep your
mindful of poison ivy, everybody.
yeah, you got to be careful because you see it's interesting. You see that little white flower and it gets your eye, then you forget about everything else. So
Yeah, you forget about everything else, and then
it's
all of a
easy to get
sudden you're in
excited and like step on a hornet's nest and get
or you're
stung
in a
or
pack of poison oak or something like
yeah.
that, you know.
So this is
Leaves of the
another
tree, let it be. If it looks like a
yes.
mitten, there you go.
And another thing is like when you're working with this flower, like you don't know what's underneath these leaves, so you want to be careful. Take your time, remove the leaves first, see what else is there, and then start harvesting your flower. That's my recommendation.
Yeah, just move
Um,
just a little bit
yeah, you don't want to go crazy. You want to see
because
what's under there.
the leaf litter is going to help feed the forest floor,
Yeah,
which is the mycelial layer and the roots of trees. So you don't listen, leave no trace applies here. So if you
yeah.
go
So
out
if
on
you,
hiking trails, you'll see at the head of the trail, that's a thing, leave no trace. So try, if you have to disturb the litter, try to put it back. Because you really don't want to disturb it. Plus, you don't want anybody to know where your harvesting spots are.
yeah. So yeah, so where to find it?
See, there's pine that was just growing up, baby pine right there. Look at that.
Yeah, that, and then there's a specific moss too that I find it in. There's a
So
better picture
listen,
of it.
because don't forget,
Yeah,
healthy moss is going to grow in healthy boreal
yeah,
forest. It'll
yeah. See
cover everything.
these?
So you start seeing moss, good
Mhm.
chance. Look at, you see that yellow, you see the yellow?
Yeah, see that guy right there?
Yeah, that I would almost say was an amanita, but it's missing the remnants of the veil on the top.
I don't know
So
what it is.
it could be a geminata, or it might be a gem,
Not
because
sure,
I
but
listen, I find, some of the toxic mushrooms will grow, like jack-o'-lanterns. If you're
yeah,
finding jack-o'-lanterns a lot in a forest, you can probably, it's a sure bet that, that's a good humus soil and
yeah,
you're in a boreal forest. Because
yeah.
I've
Almost
never
all
seen them
mushrooms is
grow.
a good indicator of you're in the
Yeah.
right area. But the Rusula family. So there was an article written about that too. That was connected to the Rusula family, and ghost pipe could possibly feed on the same underground nutrients that family does. So like ghost pipe,
Well,
like doesn't it like kind of trick the trees and into a symbiotic relationship, but really it's like a parasite. It's not giving back, it's just taking.
yeah.
Yeah. So that so it's a
Monotropa,
parasitic flower, right?
yeah, it's a parasite. That's how it
Yeah.
gets its nutrients because
Oh,
it lacks chlorophyll. So it doesn't get its energy from the sunlight.
hmm.
What it does is it steals it from the symbiotic relationship of the Russula, okay, Russula brevipae, the red cap mushrooms. It taps into the connection that the Russula has with the roots of the tree. Okay, so the roots of the tree and the mushroom have a relationship. They feed each other back and forth. The reason why you wait for the Russulas to start popping is because ghost pipe taps into that and it steals the nutrients. It doesn't give back.
Hmm.
And it's well, I'll take that a step further. You know how people can find some fuchsia and pink pink ghost pipe at certain times of the year?
Yeah.
That's because Russell is a red cap mushroom. And it's, depending on the age of the ghost pipe clutch,
Yeah.
weather, and so forth, it's stealing that nutrients and those carbohydrates and stuff like that. The reason why it's pink and red is because the Russell has got a red cap. Those are the carbs that it's sucking up.
Yeah, and you can see this one. This was
a little bit pink.
I took this one later in the season, so this one was a little pinker too. I think later in the season, the colder the weather too. I think the weather does something.
Weather does if it's dry.
Yeah, like
because the sugars get more concentrated in the mushroom and in the mycelial layer. Because everybody's getting ready to go to bed for winter.
Yeah, and you can see like this one. It's pretty cool. Like it's coming right out of the ground. Some of them will come right out of a tree limb or something like that.
I can tell. Can you see my cursor?
No.
Okay. I'm circling around the root pouch where some of the leaf litter is gone.
Yeah.
That's how small those root pouches are. They're about the size of a hockey puck.
I think I cleared this away to show. Yeah, I don't know if I cleared that away or not, but it looks like I cleared it away to show like the full extent of it.
Yeah.
But that's like a natural one. You would like that's perfect for harvesting. Like that one, pretty cool photo I took a while ago. So here's something you might come across. Here's a good guessing game, right? So harvest, don't harvest, do you let this go, do you move on? Clearly it's been pollinated, correct?
Well,
do you think? I mean, listen, this is where people get into the gray area of things.
And let me make it very clear so that people don't live in the gray. When the tips are pointed down to the terra, that has the optimal medicinal.
Like this one, right?
When they're
and then when they're up to the sky like this.
Okay, you see how the petals are black?
Yes.
Okay. When that has been touched, it's been walked on or something. When people tell you that they're fragile, I'm pulling a red flag on that because they're not fragile at all. The stamen of this plant, which is the stem, is very protected and very hard. I could step on them and have the whole clutch go down, and I'll go back the next day and they'll all be standing up.
Yeah,
and the only thing that'll be bruised is the leaves and the petals alongside the stem. And sometimes if it bent at a 180, of course, that part where the crease is gonna. But the stamen on this plant is very strong, and it's pretty hard to break it.
It has tensile strength. Yeah, that's what it has. It has very strong tensile strength. So like the flower head, like it'll disconnect very easily. That's very soft, and it's.
But the stamen will remain.
But
when they're pointed up like that, you can tell if they've been pollinated.
Yeah, here you go.
Because the edge of the flower. The edge of the flower petals surrounding the seed pod, just the edges, will be black. That's because a bee or, another insect, normally honeybees, bees will eat them, take the nectar. They stay in there and they zip around and they'll bruise the edges. So that's really the telltale sign, whether it's been pollinated or not. When the tips are up to the sky, it's ready to seed.
So that's what this is, right?
Yeah. So you kind of want to leave that there because
I personally didn't harvest any of these ones. I left them. I thought it looks like it already had done its job.
I'm glad you left them because there's some poison ivy in the background of there.
Yeah, there's like that. This picture, these ones are perfect for harvesting. These three right there. What do you think?
I think, and this is the way that I harvest them to get the optimal medicinals. You see how white they are?
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't harvest those.
You don't think you'd want them?
No, I'd go on to a healthier clutch,
And
because
let's use
that looks like a clutch that is just starting to wake up. See how the little rim, that picture you just took, see that rim? How it's a little bit black?
yeah.
Yeah. When you harvest ghost pipe, and I tell everybody I take a bounty out with me. Okay? Because when you come across a good sized clutch, you're going to notice that some of the ghost pipe is more purple. They have like a purplish hue. And you can kind of see it when it's in a big clutch. You can tell right away which ones look more purple. And it's a slight coloration difference that if you're unable to see it, that's where the bounty comes in. You can slip it in between as background to see. And I tell people, since the root clutch is a circle like this, like like a hockey puck.
Yeah.
And it's not that thick either. It's like sawdust is what it is. And when you go to harvest that, you want to go around in a concentric circle from the outside to the inside, and only choose the ones that are the most medicinal. Meaning, if you can see that indigo hue, that's the one that you want.
Gotcha. So take your time and basically pick the best ones.
And
pick the best ones you can.
Yeah. Do not, I repeat, do not listen to everyone on the internet that's telling you that you need to harvest and then you need to tincture immediately.
Yeah, I want to point something out. Let's use, I had a previous photo. Let's use this photo. Do you see all that dirt right there on that flower?
Yeah, notice how things are bruised and things like that. But then you'll have people say, well, alcohol kills it.
Alcohol.
It doesn't matter. You don't want to tincture what you don't know.
So now your alcohol is breaking down this bacteria, and that's going to possibly be in your...
It's a contaminant.
It'll be possibly in your end result, and you won't have like 100% ghost pipe tincture. So, that's just a fact. So if you took this in and you threw it in there, also you don't know what kind of pest might be in there. Now there's a couple common pests, there's a couple common spiders, there's a couple common ants. Alcohol will break those insects down and break their bodies down and break whatever kind of chemicals are inside of those bugs are going to be inside of your remedy. That you cannot strain things like that out. It's just debris at that point. You got to realize the alcohol you're using is breaking these things down.
Listen, it's an old wives' tale.
Yeah.
And it is meant
your pipes.
Yeah. It's
wash your pipes.
It's meant to slow foragers down that are just learning how to do this, because the medicinal value is not compromised whatsoever.
No.
Okay. If you treat this like you would cutting a fresh rose on a hot summer day, or like Addie has mentioned before, you go to the store and you buy a gallon of milk. Are you going to let it sit in a hot car on a July day for 20 minutes or even an hour? No. If you get it home in a couple hours, I'd say, 3-4 hours is good.
Be fine.
Yeah. And I take them home and I put them directly in a cool water bath, because what does that do to a perennial plant? It picks it back up again. Now, remember, ghost pipe is not something that you dual tincture. That's usually reserved for mushrooms that don't have a lot of water in them. Ghost pipe is loaded with water. Okay.
Yeah, it likes water too.
So
strange.
Yeah, so rinsing them off, you will find that even if you've tinctured in the field before, when you bring them home and you do rinse them and you put them in a cool bath, I just put them in a cool bath and all that debris falls down. What I find most is pine needles and, some dirt and this and that, because you want to make sure, especially if you're harvesting root sections, that you get all that sawdusty stuff out of there. You don't want it in with your tincture. It's not okay. It's okay if you're using it for self-use and you don't know a lot about biochem. Or for somebody like me, I'm a vendor and I'm held to a higher standard.
Yeah.
And I'm a nutcase. I
Let's
can't
talk about
stand contamination.
let's talk about like um people do ghost pipe tincture. That's awesome. But like eating ghost pipe in the wild, like one flower, in my opinion, one flower like this size is equivalent to like 4 to 5 drops or 3 to 5 drops of ghost pipe tincture. That's in my opinion. So like if you're matching the tincture to the flower in taste, dude, it's pretty
Peppery,
spot on. It's pretty spot on. It just tastes like a little bit like
radish.
if you've only had ghost pipe tincture, I highly recommend like, just try a little piece of the fresh flower just to get the taste of its naturalness, and you'll be like, oh my gosh, like that is it tastes like nothing else. So
Yeah,
I do,
to me it tastes a
yeah,
little radishy,
it
like
tastes
a
like pepper to me, earthy and
yeah,
peppery.
pepper, radish, this and that.
Um, but
And
yeah,
you'll notice that it's hard to chew that
yeah, you
stem.
chew on it.
It's hard to break down that stem even with your
Yep.
teeth.
Yeah, it's very hard to chew on. I usually chew on it for a long time, and then if I'll swallow it a little bit, but not really. I like this just kind of spit it out. But this is another example. Like, see, these grown out of a moss patch. I find this a lot.
Boreal forest, humus
So
earth.
so yeah,
Here you can find them in
yeah,
real old forests that are mossy. There's an area here in Stonington, Maine, that is a public trail, and it's actually called Ghost Pipe Alley. And
that's
all
cool.
it is moss everywhere. And you can see it growing, and it pops up in these
Awesome.
different patches. And
Yeah, so this is like, here's an example of probably too small to harvest. These are just coming out of the ground. You can see the leaves are still covering them a bit. So this would be something just kind of document. I mean,
it almost looks like they're growing out of bear turd,
yeah, so like,
but
so
they're
those,
not.
they're not, no, that, it's
It
like
looks like a
bark.
piece of old bark that was just
Yeah,
covering it.
so it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool going through these pictures with you for the first time, like kind of, and just seeing all the different methods and styles that they
The
grow. So
beech leaves. You got a
yeah,
lot of beech down there. I can
dude,
see the beech leaves.
tons of it. Here's a cool picture. So pretty cool. I think,
It is. And
see how
deer
fresh they are. Look
love
how,
deer, rabbits, and some other wildlife. They love eating ghost pipe.
yeah, yeah.
They
You
really
see them
do.
chomped on.
Because you see, go back to that other picture. Notice how one of your ghost pipes in the back there to the right
Yeah,
doesn't
it's
have a
missing
flower on it. It
that or
looks like yeah, it's either falling down or something. So, you'll notice, and if you know anything about scat, you can follow the scat because
yeah.
bears eat it too.
And so do like birds, like ground birds. I've heard two separate people said ducks. So I can see them like a duck like walking through and seeing ghost pipe and like just start messing with it. You know what I mean? And like pecking at it. So this one person was like did a bunch of research in the group we were in, and then like went back and to her friend's farm and was like, "Hey, are those ghost pipe flower things still growing?" And he goes, "Yeah, my ducks ate them." She's like, "What?" You know what I mean? So yeah, so that
Ducks
was
were pain free.
I mean, it wasn't on video, but that was verbal confirmation of somebody. I don't think they're lying. Who would lie about that? But here's a cool picture of them just breaking through the soil at first. So these ones are actually pretty optimal for use. It's hard to see the
The
stems,
indigo.
but
It's hard to appreciate the indigo hues.
yeah, but these ones were nice. I think that's a top view of them.
Yeah.
That
You see
these
how the
ones I
petals are
harvested.
bruised? The petals are
Yeah,
bruised
these little
because
bruising
it's coming
right
up
there.
through, yeah, it's coming up through the leaf litter.
I
So the
might,
petals can get
yeah.
bruised,
So here's a backside picture of that. See how fresh they are? There's still water droplets. Look how thick it is.
Oh,
You
they're
know,
so full of water.
yeah, so like that is perfect prime time. See, here's another this batch. Um, I believe I pulled the leaves back to show. I think I was trying to get like a forest floor type picture, but you can tell that they've been living underground for a while.
Yeah, when they start popping up,
Yeah.
okay, and you know, they're going to start to come
Yeah.
up in great numbers as the summer starts to progress. You
Yeah.
want to harvest them, and when you harvest them, I stick my fingers out like this, okay? And I get the flower that I want because I want to hold the root clutch in the ground.
Yeah.
I don't
If
want
you
to
pull too
disturb that
hard, you will
clutch.
disturb it.
Yeah, because they're very near to the top layer of soil.
Yeah.
And you want to hold that clutch down, and when you just I kind of wiggle it and twist it a little bit to pull it up, and you will
Yeah.
feel and sometimes hear an audible
It goes
snap.
pop. Yeah, it
And
makes
you're
a
going to
little
get,
pop.
yeah, and you're going to get some of the section of root, okay? And there's a lot of misconception about that too. People say if you take out the root, you're going to kill them, they're never going to come back, and that's just
Yeah.
false. Because
That's
it's
fake
literally,
news.
yeah, it's like a corkscrew that
Hmm.
turns a few times, and it has barbs on it that go one way like a fishing hook.
Yeah.
That's the way of the grand design, because that pop that you hear, you're not removing the entire root. There's still a piece of root in there.
No, it's like a bunch of little hairs that are getting all
Yep.
broken off at the same time.
Yeah.
And those hairs are
Oh,
just
you
an
can see a little
extension.
spider on that.
See that? Yeah, that's why I brought this one up. So let's go back a couple. This is
Expired.
too late. So it's going to seed. So that's good for this area. So here's what it's going to look like. What would you say, a week or 2 weeks later? This is like fully done.
Yeah, that's done. They have these little slits
Yeah.
in the seed pod. Here, I've got some expired ghost pipe here that I can show you guys. They have these little slits on the side of the seed pod. And, you know, the seeds on this are so microscopic. You know,
Yeah.
it's more like dust more than anything. So don't fall for the scams online where people are selling ghost pipe seed, because you can't, you know, recreate its growing environment, number one. Number two, I doubt very highly they're ghost pipe seeds.
Yeah,
Because
everybody. There's always one person every year asking
yeah,
me,
yeah, there's always somebody that
and I
tries
have
to
to.
get a root clutch and replant it in their yard. There was a woman last year, she was transplanting it and doing daily videos and this and that, and I'm like, you do realize that that's not coming back next year.
It might. I still have courage for.
Now,
I'm hoping for. All right,
listen,
here we go.
do
Listen
you
to
know
this.
how many famous botanists have tried to regrow ghost pipe? They can't,
Yeah,
because it needs that mycelial connection, that symbiotic relationship. And the soil pH
it
has to
takes
be
too
just
long to
right.
grow
It
over time, is what
can't
you're
be
saying.
worse.
It can't just do that. All right, so here's another picture. Expired ghost pipe, right at the right at the base of a beech tree, I believe.
Yeah,
So
it's beach.
if you're living in my area and you're not catching on, Pennsylvania, beech trees, ghost pipe. Say it with me. Look for beech trees in PA. You'll find you'll probably find what you're looking for. And
Beech
then
trees and white pine. Some places got some
yeah,
white pine.
I don't have a lot
But
of pines,
but
so
you really want to look for the russulas,
yeah, the
okay?
shrooms, the
Because
indicators.
russulas eat off those tree roots. That's a perfect area for ghost pipe. See,
Yeah,
there's a perfect picture of ghost pipe that's been pollinated.
yep,
It's around the edges only. And you'll notice that when the tips are up, you won't see any indigo hues.
no,
So they're less optimal medicinal. If you're going to go out there and if you're going to fight the snakes and the cobwebs and all the critters and the animals and the eagles and the bears and the mountain lions and the bobcats,
get the right ones.
get the right ones. Don't just be in a hurry and over harvest items that don't have the optimal medicinals, because then
And
that's
I've,
waste, let alone the ticks that are out there. So
yeah,
you want to harvest the most medicinal ones, and you want to leave these guys that are all completely white,
yeah,
that have black around the tips. As soon as the tips are up, leave them, because you want to be able to go back to those spots next year you know, that's where ethical harvesting takes place.
Yeah,
Okay.
and like honestly, like these flowers too, they're beautiful. Like look at that picture. You know, it was cool. I found them, got to appreciate it, moved on. But they were like almost a foot tall. These were huge. So it was
Yeah,
a
you can get some
so
that are really
it was a
big.
great
And
sign to see how big they were. And like I kind of out of respect for the plant, like dude, like that thing, I love. I'm like, wow, that's cool. So
yeah,
something like this. This one
those are prime.
you can see how dark purple they are. I wish everyone was like that. I found. So that is a
Yeah, listen, I usually
perfect one to
find the
choose.
real medicinal ones after the first blooms happen.
Yeah, when they first come
So,
back,
yeah, so
do
ghost
that.
pipe will a root clutch will typically flower, typically now,
Mm,
4 to 6 times a season. So you want to leave those other ones to go to seed, the ones when their tips up. But, you know, and listen, I'm a firm believer in, you know, there's a lot of talk about ethical harvesting.
mm,
And some people believe that you leave the root in, which, by the way, professional fine organic gardener here for about 45 years now.
yeah,
I will tell you that the root is always the most medicinal in any plant.
yeah,
Okay. But the ethical harvesting question is this: you'll have people that really don't know about this plant, and they'll say, oh, I ethically harvest. You know, how do you harvest? Oh, I cut them and I leave the root in. Well, you just wasted the most medicinal part and you took its seed pod. That's not ethical harvesting because it won't
yeah,
regenerate and you're leaving the root to rot. Okay. And you're not taking the most medicinal ones. You're just grabbing them all, you know, and just cutting them. Now, when you cut, you know, you want to do that, go for it. You know, it's completely up to you. I don't recommend it, you know, because I want the most medicinal parts, right?
yeah,
So when you harvest and you do it the way that I teach you, you know, just pull up the medicinal ones till you feel that pop. We're going to see the barbs, and you're going to notice on the root, the farther it goes down, the closer to the root, the more indigo it is.
yeah,
Ding, ding, ding. There's your sign. So when you harvest ghost pipe correctly, and I always tell people, because a lot of people know daylilies, hemercalis, you're going to want to thin out that root clutch a little bit like you would a hemercalis clutch, those daylilies, those road lilies that everybody has, you know. You're
yeah,
going to pull up a few. So the next season, what's going to happen is this: the root clutch expands because you've given it more room. It's not crowded anymore.
everyone listening?
When it expands, three things benefit: more mushrooms, and the roots of the tree that it's associated with, the symbiotic relationship with that mushroom, the roots will grow farther and
Yep,
longer. That means you're going to get even more clutches of ghost pipe next year. And
yeah.
that, my friends, is ethical harvesting.
Let me show you a picture of exactly that. So you'll. I don't want to skip too far. I hope it's in this. I hope it's not from a few years ago.
I think those are honey mushrooms, those yellow caps.
Probably
Yeah, they
they're
look like honeys.
them things
So
were
beech tree.
everywhere. Yeah, there was a picture of, man, I might not have it in this, but it's a single ghost pipe and you see like several flowers surrounding it in a circular style growing around it because it
The
had
root
just,
clutch is a circle.
yeah, because it had just bloomed.
Yeah.
Um,
So at the beginning of the
I don't think I
season,
have it in here, but
that's all right. The beginning of the
it's pretty
season,
epic.
when they start to come up, they tend to be thinner and smaller, and the heads are closer to the ground. Mid-season, at about the third or fourth bloom, you get these really tall ghost pipes
Yeah,
that that are really thick and stuff like that. Remember, this is a perennial plant. Think daylilies. When you thin out a daylily clutch and you pull off those old ones and stuff, the daylily clutch comes heavier, more healthy, more easy to manage. Okay. It's the
Yeah.
same thing when you're wild foraging. You want to help Mother Nature manipulate it a little bit. And that's how you ensure a healthy clutch. Those are good ones. Those you can see a little bit of pink.
So this is prime. These are prime ones.
But if you
So
go, I wish we had. Do you have any pictures of any root sections in there?
I have to let me look. I downloaded some ghost pipe pictures recently.
But look, you can tell that clutch in the back. You see the
You see
indigo
them all?
hues versus the indigo. There isn't that many indigo hues at the clutch in the front.
No.
And by the way, guys, the easiest way to find these is when the rustlers start popping. You got to get down like a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
And look to the side. And that's how you can see them. Sometimes you won't see them if you're standing right over them. They're kind of like that saying in mushrooms, once you see them, you never unsee them. Same thing with ghost pipe. Once you identify a clutch area where you're going to see the ghost pipe, you see how they're growing in situ, it's easier for you to find them the next time and the next time and the next time. It's like a no-brainer once that happens.
Here we go. Here's what I was looking for. Check this out. Let's see if I can pull. Can you see this ghost pipe root? This, you can't see it?
No.
All right. Damn.
But
okay, never mind.
The roots are really purple. And that's where you just want to pick out the ones that have the more indigo hues. There's some there that's got some indigo hues.
Yeah, this was a nice one. Like, look at this guy.
Yeah, that guy is starting to go to seed. He's going to be going to seed pretty soon.
I think so. This is on the other side of a log. It's just coming out of this, debris. So a ton of we have crazy windstorms. So a ton of debris is all over the woods I forage at, so I'm super happy with that. So there's going to be a lot of extra nutrients.
Feeds the forest floor. It feeds the mycelial layer.
Yeah. So I don't know, pretty cool. So this photo album, Janice and I started a Facebook group last season, I guess, about 4 or 5 months ago. So this is Ghost Pipe Informational Club on Facebook. I'll have a link for you. But this was just a 2024 photograph, complete set of all the photographs I took last year. So it doesn't have all of my photos, but pretty cool to go through and talk about and have a visual on it. I want to go through some tincture now too. So like, this is like my old brand or bottle I sold last year. So
look at they were all pollinated next to the bottle.
Yeah.
See how the edges are all black?
Yeah.
That's how you could tell a bee was there.
Yep.
And that's what you want. Listen, we need our bees.
Yeah. So this is a good picture. Like, you come across this little ghost pipe nest right here. This is like prime time. You're happy.
Oh yeah. And if you look to the side, you'll probably find 30 or 40 clutches.
Yeah, when it's prime time, dude, yeah, there's some in here. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Dude, there's like 30 or 40 ghost pipe probably in this picture hidden around.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty cool.
But turn your head to the side so you can see them, because some people can be right in the middle of a whole plethora of them.
Not even realize it.
And don't even realize it. So there's another reason why you don't tincture in the field. Okay, you don't tincture in the field because of contaminants.
Yeah.
And the other big reason is, explain that to a cop getting pulled over why you got an open container.
Yeah, park ranger that.
It's ridiculous. Take it home, get the contaminants off, put it in a water bath. And once you get it home and you put it in a cool water bath, and all that debris kind of just like falls right down to the bottom of, like, say, a sink, if you're using a kitchen sink. Yeah. Make sure that you got a drain, thing in there so your drains don't get clogged up from pine needles and stuff like that, because it does happen.
Yeah.
But then that's where the cutting take place. Okay. You're going to cut the ghost pipe before you put it in our curing vessel. Now, you're going to see a lot of people use mason jars. And there's a lot of people that think that tincturing is the same thing as canning and preserving food. It is not, people. The way that you make a good, strong ghost pipe, and if you see, you could see that there's a little bit of an indigo. See the indigo all around the edges of the glass? This is from last year's harvest. Now, this I won't sell for another 2 years. Okay.
Yeah.
This is part of, you know, last year's harvest that I'm going to age. It's got to age for another 2 years because I like to do my age ghost pipe. I think the longer it stays in there, the better it is. But you cut them because the stamen is so strong.
Yeah.
And use scissors or, you know, gardening shears or something like that, you know, because you'll notice how strong it is, because if you try to break them with your hands, you can't. You have to have a point of egress to do that. But the reason why you cut them is to increase the surface area that allows the solvent to get in there easy to draw out the medicinals. That's why you cut them up. Do you have to cut them up? No, you don't have to. You can do whatever you want.
Better. I used to not cut them up my first couple times, and it definitely turned purple pretty quick. But dude, the next year when I cut them up, I was like, wow, this worked like 10 times faster. So that's, you know, lesson, you know, that's firsthand learned that one. But you see how dark purple it gets. Like, I love this picture of this jar with the, you know, this should look just like this when you're done.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Once you get them in the jar and they're cut up, you can go ahead and pack them in there. Okay. Depending on how much ghost pipe you harvested. Do not over harvest. This is vital. If you are going to preserve everything that you pick, okay, then go for it. If you have a way to preserve it, go ahead and have at it. Do not waste the ghost pipe, because then that is unethical. It's unethical to pick it and not use it. If you wanna study it, grab a couple, take them home, you know, do whatever. That's fine. You know, it's practical knowledge that everybody needs when they're out foraging. You got to learn everything about it, you know, before they start doing it. But when you tincture it, you are only going to cover the plant material plus an inch. Okay. And the reason why I say plus an inch, say I only harvested this much ghost pipe.
Yeah.
I'm only going to put that much solvent in it.
Yeah.
Because you don't want, you want the osmosis and the diffusion to happen. It's a chemical reaction. And let's talk about the alcohol proof. Okay.
Yeah. Solvent.
Yeah. The solvent.
Right.
Alcohol is a tool in this equation. It is the solvent that draws out the medicinal value of this plant. Okay. It is not the medicinal. There's too many times that I see people thinking that it's like preserving food just because they use a mason jar. And by the way, you don't have to use a mason jar. You can use any jar. And they have that much solvent and that much plant. And they think just because it turned purple that they did a good thing. No, you're getting way too much of the easy chemicals that pull out, like the salicylic acid and stuff like that, and the color. Those are easy things to pull out. The medicinal is something that's got to sit there for a while.
Yeah.
So don't just go by the color and think that, oh yeah, I got enough solvent. No, you probably put too much solvent, because you only want to cover the plant material in an inch. And the reason why I say an inch is because when I originally started this last August, I had just a plant material and an inch. Okay. It gives me room to shake it. That's why you do the extra inch. So you can have that room, because once you put this in the solvent, okay, you're gonna put it in a cool, dark place away from heat and direct light. You can cover them with tea towels if you want, put them in a cabinet, keep them away from, don't put them at the top of the stove if you do a lot of cooking, because that's not good. But you can have them in clear containers when they're curing, as long as they're covered, or
Yeah, I
like
have a
in
little
cabinets.
cabinet.
Yeah.
I bought
But
a cabinet, and it's my little medicine cabinet now.
apothecary, and you're going to shake it twice a day. What I do is I'll get up, and I'll the first thing I'll do is, while I'm making my coffee, is I'll start shaking my tinctures, and I invert them. That's how I know I shook them that day. So later on during the day, when they're back up like this, I know that I've done it twice.
Wow.
It's easy to remember. Now, if so, the solvent, okay, you want to use 190 proof. Okay. And 190 proof, I hear a lot of people saying, oh, I can't get it in my country and it's not legal in my state. That's because they don't know where to look. The chemical abbreviation for alcohol is ETOH, ethanol. Okay. Anyone can go on Amazon.
Yeah.
And
Can you
get
see
a
me looking
food,
this up right now?
yeah, food grade ethanol. It's for sale on Amazon. So
Food
you can
grade.
buy it. Or if you know a local distiller that
All
will
right.
do it
Are
for
you
you, yeah,
seeing this right now?
ethanol, 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 ethanol. You can buy 190 or higher, 200 is fine. So if you're going to be tincturing at 190, know this. Anything lower than 190, say you use 151 because you use moonshine. And by the way, clear liquors only, because the other liquors that the
Yeah, here you go.
brandies
Look.
and things like that, like my ancestors used to use, they have tannins in them. There's other things that are in that you don't want with the ghost pipe, because it affects the taste, it affects the medicinal, all kinds of stuff like that. But you use clear, because you want to see the color change. You want to know that it's okay. All right. You notice how it says ethanol 190 proof, food grade alcohol.
So
Anybody can pull that up.
this is what
Now,
anybody can buy. So you don't
yes,
need to go to a liquor store and buy
don't.
Everclear.
No, but you
Um,
can buy Everclear. Okay. So if you're buying
yeah.
Everclear, it's like 151 proof.
So
What you're going
here's
to
a
do is you're going
pack
to
of
either,
two. Like what's the best deal? What would you think? Like a gallon? Here's
oh,
one
a gallon,
gallon.
I would have to, yeah, I go through a lot of ethanol. I really do. But then again, I've got a family member that is a distiller, so, it works
Yeah.
okay for me. Look at it. It comes in a big old barrel, $1,000. I probably go through 3 barrels in a season, minimum.
Holy crap.
Minimum. So listen,
Check
if you
this one
use
out.
190 proof or higher, this cure, you can actually start using it in 1 to 2 weeks. Can you let it sit longer? Yes, of course you can. The longer it sits, the better it is. The more aged it is, the better it is. However, if you use anything under 190 proof, 4 to 6 weeks. So, if you're running out and you really need some, you don't want to have to buy it. Can you take it? Can you start taking a couple eyedroppers? If you use 151, yeah. Don't use 80 proof, and definitely don't use 100 proof. Anything less than 151, I don't recommend, because it doesn't pull out the optimal medicinals. You'll be getting more of the color and the salicylic acid. You won't be getting the optimal medicinals that this plant has to offer. So what happens when someone has a less potent tincture? They take more. When you take more, your liver is going to suffer because it has salicylic acid. So you don't want your liver enzymes going through the roof on this thing. So tincture it right the first time, do it right the first time. Trust me, even a jar like this, to anybody who's making this at home, this will last somebody a year plus.
Oh yeah. So like
This is a lot of ghost pipe for just one person.
making it on your own is the way to go for ghost pipe. A lot of people can't, which is okay. And buying it's not a bad option either, because I think you get your money's worth for how long it lasts somebody. So like, what would you say the average person might
Listen, if it's
use?
tinctured appropriately using 190 proof or higher, and by the way, After this is tinctured, if I were to take an alcohol meter and put it in here, it's no longer reading at 200 proof.
Yeah.
It's going to read at like 120,
I'm getting a
130,
visitor
stuff
here.
like that. That's how you know that the medicine actually did its job. The solvent did its job. The alcohol layer, the alcohol plus the longer it sits, the alcohol sometimes will sweat out and, you know, it'll get more concentrated. You can also tincture in food grade glycerin. Okay.
Oh,
if you
I
don't,
got a
if you don't
cat.
want to use, but know this, if you use glycerin, it is not going to be optimal medicinal. And
No.
its shelf life is like, it's like,
Yeah,
you're
people
talking
have been
under a
using
year, a
glycerin
few
last
months.
time, and then people have kombuched it, ghost pipe, and I think tincturing with alcohol is the best way.
It is, because
See my cat?
technically,
He's going crazy.
a
Come on, Riley.
technically a glycerin is not a tincture.
No.
It's a glyceride. So, you know, tincturing refers to just high proof alcohol. Okay. Anything in, you know, and that's it, you know. But after this sits a while and you age it, go ahead and test it, you know, see how it is, see if it calms your nervous system down. But in my experience, and this is just me talking, remember, I don't have any medical license, you know, anything like that. So this is all based on
Oh
our
my
own
gosh.
experience, because after all, this is a non-FDA approved herbal supplement. Okay. So we're not giving medical advice. But, you know, a lot of times, you know, anxiety and stress, it can cause someone to be locked, their nervous system, the parasympathetic and their autonomic and their sympathetic nervous system. You're locked in fight or flight.
Yeah.
That's why Ghost Pipe excels as a nervine, because you don't feel high, it's non-addictive, and it calms your nervous system down.
Yeah,
So
and
that's why it excels,
you
you
don't
know,
need to
with
take it all the
anxiety
time
and high
either.
blood
So
pressure.
you
I'm
take it
sorry?
as I said, taking it as needed, I think is needs to be stated too. Like you don't need it all the time. It's not, you know, depending on your situation, but for
No, you
mild
really don't.
for my personal use for like mild stress and anxiousness and soreness from some old surgeries, I use it maybe once or twice a month here and there. Um, so it's something you can pick up and put down, no problem.
I think the last time I used any of my GP was when I had that knee injury and I had the MRI done, just to, you know, an X-ray done. I went to the
Yeah.
ER, which takes a lot
Yeah.
because my pain threshold's pretty high. But I took it because, don't forget, it's an it acts like an anti-inflammatory. So,
Yeah.
you know, my knee joint, you know, it ended up, I had water on my knee, you know, but the pain was pretty bad that it brought me to an ER, which is unusual because I can count on one hand two times I've been to an ER for extreme.
Yeah.
So my knee was really hurting, but it was like I couldn't even bend it. And I remember being in the ER and everybody wanted to give me a shot. They wanted to give me
No.
pills and everything else. And they looked at me like I was a weirdo because I was like, no, I use Ghost Pipe. I don't need any of that. And they're
They're
like,
like, what?
oh, Ghost Pipe. You know, a few of the staff had heard about it, but you know, the doctor, when he saw me, when he was going to release me, he goes, let me just please give you a shot. You know, I
So
know
you
after
what?
seeing those films how much in pain you are. And I said, well, really, I'm not in any pain right now.
Oh man.
So, you know, and I kept refusing, you know, the meds that they were giving me. But I said, listen, I didn't come in here for pain meds. That's how I came in here. I came in here for films and a professional opinion because I don't have an X-ray
Yeah.
at home. I don't know what's going on with my knee, you know. But that's the last time I utilize Ghost Pipe. You know,
Yeah.
I use it as needed. Keep in
So
mind, if you're on blood pressure meds, have a discussion with your doctor,
yeah.
okay, before you take Ghost Pipe, because some Ghost Pipe will interact with some people with some blood pressure medications, not all, okay? Lisinopril comes to mind. So what happens when you take ghost pipe, and in addition to heart, blood pressure meds, it can cause heart arrhythmias, where your heart starts beating really fast and this and that. And if you take it for anxiety, when your heart starts beating fast, what happens to your anxiety? Goes through the roof and everything, and you freak out and you never want to touch ghost pipe again. When in reality, remember, you go to the doctor, every time you go to your doctor for your annual physicals or whatever, there's a form that you fill out and the doctor asks you, what are you taking? You're supposed to list your herbal supplements, but especially with blood pressure medication, because we don't want you to have heart arrhythmias. So have a talk with your doc and tell your doc you want to try natural methods. You want to be weaned off of the medication so that it's medically titrated, so that it doesn't hurt you. And then you can slowly introduce the ghost pipe, and then you can just stop taking that med altogether. The other thing to remember, this is known as a buzz killer. I don't like to sell any ghost pipe to anyone that's taken opioids, because if they're taking opioids and they've had a lifetime of taking that kind of pain med, you're used to feeling that head high. You're used to feeling that. And some people, when they turn to natural remedies or these natural forms, it's because their doctor wants them off the medication. They didn't want to listen to the doctor, so the doctor shifted them over to a pain management center, which, by the way, legal rehab. That's a rehab facility, guys. It's because you wouldn't listen to your doctor, so they shift you off to another cost center, and they try to titrate you off the meds, okay? And when people are non-compliant, they're searching for that high that they used to get with the opioids. Okay?
Yeah, and like ghost pipe has been like, it's its own category in my opinion. But people are trying to place it into one, and they're forcing it into that one, and they're forcing it into a psychedelic realm. It doesn't belong there. You know what I mean?
No.
So
it's the only natural antidote known. Okay, the only antidote to instantly ground somebody that's on a bad trip. LSD, mushrooms. It instantly will ground them. I've seen it a million times. And so when you're taking opioids, like I had a client that said, no, I'm not on any pain meds. I'm not on any blood pressure meds. Okay, have at it, find your dosing, because dosing is unique to everybody, just like their body is unique and their pain threshold's unique. And then they called me up because all of a sudden they were like up and walking and they were doing things and they were getting stuff done. And I said, you lied to me. I could tell that you were on opiates when you took this. This is probably the most sober you've been in years, huh? Yeah, it is. I feel great, and blah, blah, blah. So there's really no reason to take the opioids. And a lot of people will say, and you'll read online, that it has an opiate-like effect.
No, like
it's a nerve.
Like the only thing I can tell you, like, opioids and ghost pipe, like how they should be in the same like sentence, is withdrawal symptoms. Ghost pipe can help withdrawal symptoms, in my opinion.
Yeah,
in my opinion,
definitely can.
So that's why it is in that realm. But with that being said, it's not going to get you off of anything like that, in my opinion. It can help withdrawal symptoms. That doesn't mean it can cure an addiction. And an addiction is completely different.
An addiction is psychological.
Yeah. So ghost pipe can help and can walk alongside with somebody like that. But I mean, when you're on something as serious as fentanyl, like, ghost pipe is pretty much out the window for you. I wouldn't even bother wasting my time with trying to, it's cool that you're trying to, your head's in the right space trying to get off of something, but
ghost pipe can medical titration.
It can only help the symptoms or the withdrawal symptoms. So if you're getting the shakes Okay, it can help you with that. It can help you with shivering. It can help you with things like that. It, you know what I mean? It's
I I will say this because we're not medical,
no.
practitioners or anything like that. Any medication that you're physically addicted to, okay, you need to be medically titrated and
Yeah.
supervised to come off.
There is a way
Don't,
and a program to get off of that. And if
yeah,
you think you
don't
could
do it
just
by yourself.
swing it with a little help from Ghost Pipe, not saying it's impossible, not saying it hasn't been done, but I think you'd be underutilizing the plant's entire purpose. So, and as far as abusing it to get high,
Not going to happen. You're just going to end up with a really bad stomach ache and a really bad headache the next day.
yeah, like
Buzz killer.
there's really no urge to, like, your body doesn't want, it just wants, like, enough. Like, that's, I don't know how to explain it. Like, you hit a ceiling. It's not like you keep doing more, you feel more.
No, you don't.
It kind of
Because
just,
you don't feel this nervine. This
no.
nervine, when tinctured and harvested appropriately, it's a powerful nervine on
Hmm.
your ANS, your autonomic nervous system, the same system that controls your heartbeat. I've meditated for over 30 years, and I can lower my blood pressure. I can lower my heart rate because I've done a lot of meditating and yoga. This does that too. So you don't want to, not that it's going to depress your heartbeat. Nobody has ever died from ghost pipe, by the way, everybody.
Yeah.
So it doesn't depress your central nervous system. It works as a nervine so that it calms your PNS and your sympathetic nervous system, because a lot of the pain, whether it's musculoskeletal, rheumatoid arthritis, fibromyalgia, lupus, Lyme disease, all these great things that it works on, even Parkinson's, it'll help to, when someone has Parkinson's, when they get nervous, they shake more. Okay.
Yeah.
When you're calm, you don't shake as much. And so this is great for that, okay, because it works behind the scenes. You don't feel it, and it calms your nervous system. But a lot of the reasons why everyone has anxiety, it stems from trauma. And usually that trauma stems from childhood trauma. Could there have been something awful that happened to you, domestic violence or a crime and against you and things
Yeah.
like this? Absolutely. That causes trauma. So what happens is your parasympathetic and your sympathetic nervous system is locked in fight or flight. And you learn to live that way. That is not normal. Okay. Using ghost pipe, and if you were in a situation where you do have past trauma and you're getting therapy, that's great, because then you're going to start to unlock all those things. You're not going to have that system locked, but that's where ghost pipe excels,
Yeah.
because it calms your nervous system down. That's how come if you've got fibromyalgia, if you've got arthritis, if you've got back pain issues, joint issues, anything like that, this calms your nervous system down. So when you dose with ghost pipe for musculoskeletal and other physical ailments like that, you are no longer hyper focused on that pain. No
Yeah.
more. All of a sudden, the way that you normally sit and you get up and stuff like that, all crippled over because your body is locked.
Yeah.
Okay. And you don't give yourself a full range of
And like,
motion because it's too much pain,
and
and
the
you're
stress
focusing on that pain.
and the stress level that contributes to a lot of your pain, especially a lot of the mild pain, just comes from stress. So when you lower your stress level with ghost pipe,
Yeah. All of a sudden you
a
realize,
lot of pain goes away that just caused from stress and being tense all the time and honestly just fed up.
yeah,
So
set up.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, it can help clean me up.
look at the world we live in now. A lot of people are fed up,
Dude,
you
it
know,
couldn't be
and
that's what I've been hearing too. Like other people have been saying this as well. This couldn't be getting more popular at a perfect time for everyone to start healing better and naturally and whatnot. So
for sure.
it is getting more popular by the day, I would believe, and more people are reaping the benefits. And like honestly, the placebo idea or the placebo effect, like that's out the window. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So just remember it's a powerful nervine
yeah.
when it's wild foraged and it's
Mhm.
harvested. You're using the right alcohol volume. You're
Yeah.
curing for the right amount of time. And like I said, a jar like this will last one person, maybe a year, maybe two
Maybe two
years,
years.
stuff like
Oh,
that.
that would last an entire family or whomever a very long time. So I guess we're gonna cover our last part. Like if someone's interested in buying these remedies, can you see your eBay channel right here?
Yeah,
This
that's
is
my eBay. It's
yeah.
J. I've had this eBay account since eBay
We'll have
became a Genesis.
we'll have the links for the items below, but I just wanted to show everyone that we're on your page before we go. So
Yep.
how
So
long?
I'm available on eBay or Etsy. We're available. Um,
Mhm.
and we've got the 4 ounce and the 2 ounce size. Okay, I don't sell anything smaller than that or anything larger. Usually, if somebody wants more ghost pipe, they'll order several 4 ounce.
Yeah.
And I don't sell it to wholesale so that other people can sell my proprietary method by slapping a new label on it. I don't do that
Yeah.
either. So, you know, uh, you'll have the links. We also started with the honey badger, I like to call it, because I'm kind of like a honey badger myself.
Yeah.
Um, and this is local Maine honey. And what I do is I take the tinctured ghost pipe and I load it up in there with tinctured ghost pipe. So you can actually see the flowers and the root sections yourself. And you can actually use this to make tea. You can fish out some flour. You could steep it with your favorite tea. You can use the honey to flavor it. And this is a mild, it's a little bit milder, but I also add a little bit of ghost pipe tincture in all my honey. So there's a hack for you. And they come with honey dippers, each individual wooden honey dippers, and I hand tie, and I on my public offerings I write all the labels. So
Yeah.
you're going to get a little golden bee that's also included, on the tie that I put on. But having the honey badger is good for someone, and I had someone, it was a good point that they made. They sent me an email and they said, Janice, can I take the honey when I dose with ghost pipe? My answer is absolutely, because
Yeah.
everything's going to be in moderation, and because it's more milder, of course you can. So if you want a cup of tea before you go to bed, also the flowers and the root sections, just like the small pieces that I put into each tincture bottle, they're edible. You can set them aside. You
Hmm.
can eat them if you've got a toothache, things like that.
Yeah. This
Um, yeah.
since we-
So the eBay channel I've had for 30 years, and I've got 100% rating on there.
there you
So
go.
you
Better
know,
than mine. Keep rubbing
yeah.
it in. I got
No,
one bad rating, everybody, so Janice
yeah,
is
nah, nah,
perfect.
nah. I'm one of those people that I have an eBay concierge.
Yeah.
So they know my rating, they
Yeah.
protect it.
Look, it looks like
And
it's in two carts right now. It's in two carts, man. What are they waiting for, everybody? Buy it up.
and I'm on Etsy as
Yeah, on
New
Etsy
England
too.
Planter. And I think you have
I have
that.
Australian settings on mine or something.
Yeah, but
But
Addie's Etsy thinks he's Canadian, and it's coming up as
yeah,
Canadian prices or Australian prices.
something, I don't know. I just went on Etsy the first time. My Mac's a little wacky, my new one, but Yeah, it's pretty cool. I love this flower. I figured we would just hang out and make this video in a normal afternoon.
And
And
the picture that you have up right now on eBay,
it's pretty cool, huh?
that's Ghost Pipe Alley in
Oh, is
Stone.
that it? Is that what you're talking
That's it.
about?
You
All
see
that
all that.
moss?
Look at it. Look at all the
Yeah.
ghost pipe in the background. See, there's even some
Where?
pine sap there. See that right to the left? That's a Hypopitys. That's pine sap.
Oh,
Looks a little
okay.
reddish.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's funny.
yeah. And those Hypopitys is same family as ghost pipe, same medicinal value,
Yeah.
except
We should.
it's also called gold seal, golden seal, a bunch of other things. Has multiple flowers on its head. And it's
Yeah.
always gold/red for the same reasons that ghost pipe turns fuchsia and red. So there's that. And, you know, wild foraging, get out there, wild forage. There it is right there. There's Hypopitys. You notice the multiple flower heads? Same thing, no chlorophyll. So it taps into the same
Yeah.
root symbiotic relationship between the mycelium
And
and the
these are
fruiting.
cool. So
Yeah,
I would love
that
to
looks
make
a little
us.
like beach drops. But
Yeah. Look at that one.
look at that. Isn't that
That's
nice?
a chunky one from Oregon.
Victorian times, they called them
Oh man.
candy canes in the
Yeah.
Victorian area because they'll look red and
There you
white.
go. Look, it's saying that that Dutchman's pipe grows more in these two states. Ghost pipe region wasn't in. They didn't have them.
No, they didn't.
And
You know, the other
that
how
old
red
map
that
is old too.
picture is,
The
how nice and fuchsia that is. It's really pretty.
yeah.
I only did a few tinctures of the pine sap last year.
Yeah, I'm gonna do
Um,
some this year. We found some at the end of last year, so I just gotta go back.
yeah, I know that there's a few people. There's one particular person on Etsy that is selling pine sap.
Yeah,
You know,
it
and their
says
price.
pine sap is listed as endangered in Florida and threatened in Iowa. So there you
Yeah,
go.
listen, that's another thing we should mention. A lot of people, you know, what do they call? What do I say? Ecologist, plant ecologist, something like that.
Yeah,
They
botanist,
will always say, "Oh, it's
eco-botanist.
endangered! It's endangered! It's endangered! You're going to overharvest it!" No, not. It doesn't. It's a plant. Just doesn't grow everywhere. You know.
Yeah, I know. They're like it's rare. I mean, it's endangered in Florida, but like, dude, like Florida's so messed up. Like everything's crazy. Threatened in Iowa. So I wonder what that's about. At
Well, it's
least they're paying
also.
attention to it.
Yeah, it's spotters, really. And, you know, but here in the Northeast, it's not endangered. It's not anything like that. You know, just ethically harvest it. You know, only take what you
Yeah.
need, only take what you can tincture. Don't haul up the whole root clutch every time you do it and pull all the roots out. Because if you pull their pouch out, you're not going to have any more ghost pipe. You
No.
know, and if you want pain meds, you want to keep that going. So, you know.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm good to wrap it up. Are you good? I mean, that was a good time. I'm going to post this. Everybody join our Facebook group, the Monotropa.
And our Spotify
Yeah, we'll have
and our
all our links.
YouTube.
But there's this group is intended for just ghost pipe information only, so you guys can just scroll through whatever you want and post whatever you want, and maybe
And
we'll
the
catch.
Practical Foragers,
The
we're pretty
Practical
good
Foragers
at
group is
cross
our.
posting. We're pretty good at cross posting,
Yeah, we'll
you
be
know,
in
between
there.
the Practical Foragers and the info group. And we also have a
So
ghost pipe sales and is that the one that was the sales and information?
no, this is just information. There's another one with
Okay,
sales
because
and
we also
information.
have a ghost pipe sales and info,
Yeah.
right?
So we started a bunch of groups last year. We'll see how it goes.
But pretty much everything is being transacted on my page, a New
Yeah.
England Planter, which, you know, I get a lot of requests to join my page because when I comment in different forums, I comment under New England Planter.
Yeah.
Listen, it's a wild, wild west out there. Okay. And I keep my New England Planter page specifically private for clients only. Okay. So if you purchase a tincture, you get let in and it gives you different sales, different discounts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If you are purchasing for the, you know, if you just want to join and you haven't purchased a tincture, go to the Practical Forager site. you know, you'll still have a lot of the information there. And yeah.
Yeah, come hang out, shoot us a text, shoot us a comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And I'm gonna figure out how to stop recording, and then we're gonna be done. Here
See
we
you guys
go.
later. Listen,
Check you
thanks for
later.
listening. If you have any questions, feel free to private message either Addie or I on the
Yep.
Practical Foragers. We're happy to help always. Eat your mushrooms, keep your hands to yourself, and go out and get a hike.
Yep. Take care.